Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Paul Sandhu Show. And today I have a very special guest. And to start out the amazing new year, I have Steve Newton from the Mission BBQ. And really glad to have you here, Steve. We're going to really be talking about today about your goals, your dreams, and your purpose along the way today, which is going to be a really key topic that we're going to be talking about. If you do not know about Mission Barbecue, they have well over 100 restaurants across the country, and they've been doing really well. And if you like barbecue, this is definitely the place to go. I will tell you that I have been going to this restaurant for well over about 5 years now, and just been amazed about, after traveling across the country, about the number of barbecue places I've visited, and this is definitely one of the top ones on the list that I typically go to, including when I've gone to Kansas City. Now, with that, Mission Barbecue actually started well over a while ago. Actually started on an original date of 9/11, 2011, and what a date to actually pick to actually start out. But most people would say that would not be a great thing to do, but this guy here actually Steve really thought that it was really something that he was really passionate about doing and getting started in terms of that. So today, welcome Steve, by the way, and we're really glad to have you on board today on our show. We're going to go right into it. I think a lot of our listeners are really wondering, well, how did Mission Barbecue start? And did you just wake up just one morning going, I want to start a restaurant?
Hey, Paul, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on your show. Sorry it took so long to finally connect and do this, but I'm glad we're kicking off 2022, in this way. So thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's great to have you.
Yeah, so, Mission Barbecue is really a story of two best friends, my partner Bill and I, who had a passion for barbecue, but more importantly, a love for our country. And we wanted to build something that was positive, significant, and meaningful, and would make a positive difference in the lives of our people, our teammates, our customers, our community, and our country. And Bill actually chose 9/11 as the date. And we actually had to get our construction crews to work nights and weekends to hit that date. You have to pay for that when you do it. And but that was an important day for us. We opened 10 years after the World Trade Center terrorist attacks, and we did so on purpose. We did so because we wanted to kind of maybe take the hands of time back, and provide something positive coming from that day. So that was a meaningful day and a very purposeful day, and it marks our anniversary. And we just marked our 10th anniversary on 9/11.
Wow, that's amazing, especially during the current climate. So, did you just, wake up one day? I mean, really, why did you pick the restaurant industry, and why did you and Bill really think about that? Was this something that you really always wanted to do?
Well, so long story short, I think the restaurant industry picked me. And so, I grew up in a lower middle class neighborhood. I'm sure a lot of folks on your podcast probably did too. And, you had to work, if you wanted a new pair of basketball shoes, if you wanted a new pair of cleats, if you wanted to drive your car, you had to pay for your car and car insurance. And so with that came a job. So, I started off, working landscaping, cleaning cars, and, delivering papers like a lot of young people do. And then in high school, I had a good friend, John. And so, John, if you're out there, thank you. I had a good friend, John, and John's neighbor owned a pizza place. I grew up in Central Ohio, and so John's neighbor owned a pizza place. And so and John worked there. And I was always like, hey, John, get me a job, man, get me a job. That high school kid that, wanted to work. And so he called me one Friday evening afternoon, and he said, hey, the pizza delivery guy, can't come in. You still want that job? I'm like, well, yeah, man, I'll be ready to start on Monday. And he's like, no, you don't understand. We need a pizza delivery guy. You need to be here by 5 o'clock tonight, because we need a pizza guy. I'm like, well, hold on a second. I'm going to the football game tonight. I got a party on Saturday, Sunday's family day. So I'll be ready to go on Monday. He's like, no, you need to be here. So I had to make a decision. And luckily I made a decision. Let's go. And so I skipped the football game and missed the party and started off in the restaurant industry. And And the restaurant industry I played sports in school, so it's a lot like team sports. We all wear the same uniform. We're on one team. It's exciting. Every day's a little different. And so, it was that pizza shop, and then it was the sub store, on campus. And then later on, moved around and was working at a couple restaurants, working your way through college, having to pay through college. And, I had a young bride, and then shortly after that was a couple young baby girls. And so it was, I guess this is the business I've chosen. And, it's been a lot of hard work, but it's been a lot of fun, and every day is different. So it kind of found me, and I think it just suited me.
Awesome. That's an amazing story how, you went from doing that to something like this on such a large scale in terms of that. So with that being said, did you know a lot of people don't know this, but they come to us for a lot of different reasons for getting help. But did you know your purpose and your dream prior to really opening Mission BBQ at all?
Well, the path to Mission BBQ was really kind of baby steps, from delivering pizzas to working in a sub shop to, working when I got a real job, real restaurant job, I was washing dishes in a casual dining restaurant.
Wow.
And then later on you work your way up through the cook's line, and then you become a kitchen manager and service manager. And then, I got the privilege of working with Mr. Norman Brinker, who started Steak and Ale Bennigan's and later Brinker International. And it's during that time that I really got the privilege to meet Chris Sullivan and Bob Basham, who started Outback Steakhouse. And I worked with Outback, really kind of sitting at the feet of Chris and Bob for 20 years. And I learned so much from Mr. Brinker, but more importantly, Chris and Bob, about culture and people. And so towards the end of that 20-year period, I had met a friend, and we'd become family friends. We'd go to the same church in Maryland. And, he was one of the original Under Armour executives. And we became very friendly. And, he ended up kind of retiring a little bit and kind of taking a rest. Guys like Bill, if you're out there, Bill, guys like Bill, they don't retire, right? They just need a little bit of a rest.
Yeah.
And so, about a year in, he started calling and saying, hey, let's go build something. Let's go do something. Something that has significance and meaning. And his son had just enlisted in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
And so there was the meaning, police, military, fire, first responders, those men and women that step forward on the line, raise their right hand and swear to protect, serve, and save, both in our community and our country. And so we had a purpose. And I'll tell you, I love I've always loved a pulled pork sandwich. And so we said, well, what's classic American? What's timeless and classic? Well, of course, those men and women that put the uniform on, and those ideals and values have become classic and timeless for our country. And what's a classic and timeless cuisine? And we thought of really a great piece of protein and a great side. And so similar to the steakhouse business, it was built on a great piece of protein and great side.
Right.
And so we looked at the landscape, and we saw some similarities in the barbecue space that may be independent and regional. And so we said, hey, look, we can build a timeless and classic brand and hopefully do good and give back in the barbecue space. So Bill kept doing this. Let's go do something. Let's go build something. And then he hit me with that one question, Paul. I'm 4 months older than he is, and he reminds me of that. And so he leaned in one day and he said, well, Newt, if not now, when? If not now, when? And I think it was a jab. I think it was a barb to tell him I'm a little older than he is. But really, one regret that I have is I didn't do it sooner. But that's kind of how Mission BBQ got started on 9/11. Was that Bill kept doing this, and it was a challenge. It was a good challenge.
Now, you mentioned earlier about in terms of matter of fact, you mentioned earlier that you didn't even you finished high school, but you never actually went to college, right?
Yeah.
And I want to bring
don't tell our teammates that the guy that's running the operations is a college dropout.
Well, I want to bring this up because it's really important to understand, and everybody understands out there that college is great. It teaches you a lot of different things, but if you look overall today, not every single entrepreneur actually went to college and finished college, but the number of people that ended up being millionaires later on down the road, and with what they did and with a business and how they were able to grow it on the scale was absolutely amazing. Such as like yourself, and I think it really says a lot of different things about where people really want to go. And I guess a lot of people have a lot of purpose that's out there, and a passion, but they're probably scared to death to do something like what you did across the board in terms of that. So with that being said, did you really know that you wanted, that you decided just to become a entrepreneur on your own and be a business owner at that point, or it was still kind of not even in your head? You were still you haven't even fathomed that at that point.
It was a path, really. You grow up and you just work, and you work for things, and later you work for your family and support your family, and then it's later on that at least for me, that it was I'm not gonna say I got comfortable, but it was time for a new challenge, and I tell you, it was scary. It was scary for me because I'd had a job my whole life, and I'd always try to work like I owned it. That was a lesson I learned, is that when you work like you own it, even though if you work for somebody else, you really get the benefit of that pride and the passion of your craft.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So with that being said, at any point in your life, during that time, you became a business owner, but you really didn't know that that's the path you were going to lead later on down the road. Why did you choose the restaurant industry out of all industries that were out there?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I was 20 years old when I got married to my lovely wife, the light of my life. Hopefully I get some points for saying that online, and so I'll be able to memorialize that for her.
Sure she is.
Yeah. And we had two young girls pretty quickly after we had married. And so that was the business I've chosen. And it's a great industry. It's one of the few industries. Initially, Paul, it was just, okay, I got to put food on the table. I got to support my family. And I enjoyed the restaurant business too. Let's be honest. It was fun. Every day was different, but when you just kind of put your boots on and go out to work, work and support your family. But then later on, you realize that you kind of caught the passion and you got better at it, and you continue to improve. And it was a natural progression, I think, for me to kind of go into to the next step was really, okay, let's do this. Let's do this for yourself.
Awesome. So what was the biggest challenge with, starting up your restaurant and also being a business owner in terms of that?
The biggest challenge? Well, the first biggest challenge was I was scared. Am I good enough? Is this going to work? What if, and then I kind of realized, hey, look, if not now, when? And if it doesn't work, well, I think you should burn the boats, right? I think you should commit, be all in, and I was a little bit of a ready, aim, and I didn't fire. And finally, it was like just ready, aim, and fire. And so, we went all in, and we did it. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, really, I guess what I'm asking is really, what were the biggest challenges that you had, becoming a business owner?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge for me was, first and foremost, was fear. I was afraid. Is it going to work? Am I going to work? Am I good enough? And then there's been operational and day-to-day challenges, and month-to-month challenges and year-to-year challenges. And, it's a journey. And part of the journey, we look back and see, the last 2 years for all of us have been a challenge. And I don't wish this pandemic and these emergencies on anybody, but I got to tell you, it's made me in some degree, a better person and a better professional to have to just grapple with this. And one of the lessons we learned over the last 2 years is the importance of our people. Yeah. And we talk about, we aspire to be a great people first company and culture. Well, the last 2 years is like, okay, you got to walk your talk now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we retained 97% of all of our teammates that chose to work during the pandemic. And, we didn't want to lose a single person. Still don't.
Yeah. That I will say, I've been in your restaurant where I live, and, most of the people that I've seen there are still there in terms of which we're definitely going to get to. But, I think it raises a lot of different things as to, and Dave Ramsey and I are very good friends. And we had this conversation a while back ago was, and something that we definitely learned in our business as well is that, a lot of times and just because you have anybody breathing and walking that comes in your door, you may not necessarily want to hire them just because they think they can do the job, and they're just there for the job necessarily as well, which is a big thing to remember. And, with you, obviously you changed the way you've obviously done your hiring in such a way because you kept all your team members, and you just didn't hire just anybody because they had a job. They were there because they had a passion like what you had. You wanted to hire somebody that had a passion in there, right?
Yeah, I think, where is it up there? I think it's up there. Where is it? So I have a lot of respect for Mr. Ramsey, and we go through, we have a rigorous selection process, and it's well thought out, and we put a lot of energy into it and a lot of research into it. But one of the things that Dave Ramsey talks about that we show, and we have an annual academy that we bring our new teammates to, and we take them through the selection process. And that video that Dave has, "Don't Let Crazy in the Building." Yeah, I found out where you came, and I locked that door. And so, literally, that book, Dave Ramsey's Entree Leadership, is a great book, and it's an institution in our business.
Yeah, absolutely. So here comes a big question that I think a lot of listeners want to know is, and the people that are watching this is that how what mistakes did you make, and then what did you learn from them? Obviously, you jumped into a business that you didn't really know a lot about so much, but you knew about the restaurant industry. But then you're all on your own in terms of that at that point.
Well, as far as mistakes, I got to tell you, I'm still making them, and plenty of them.
Yeah.
I'm really blessed that I work with my best friend and founder and partner, and so and we're the yin and the yang. I'm the XO, and he's the CEO. Mm-hmm. So he's the front facing. He's a great communicator and a great relationship builder.
Yeah.
Now he can do what I do, and I can do a little bit of what he does, but I'm more the XO. So we were blessed that we had that. I'm not riding solo. Yeah. And when I look at a lot of industries, even outside the restaurant industry, one of the common traits is that there are two people that are running the organization. Mm-hmm. It's for in the restaurant industry, it was Norman Brinker and McDougall. For Outback, it was Chris Sullivan and Bob Basham. And I think you have a similar thing with Microsoft and Apple and Google. Some of those iconic, great companies that and for us, Bill and I working together in tandem and symphony has been important, and we still make mistakes. I think whenever I get asked that question, I got to be honest with you. I rarely look back and remember it, and it's hard for me to remember the mistakes I made. Make plenty of them. I'll make some today, you know. And we got a team that we're trying to be collaborative and creative collectively, so that because 1 + 1 = 3. When we're all together, we'll make better decisions together versus the king syndrome where one person's making all the decisions, and we try not to do that. So kind of have amnesia when I look back to a lot of mistakes, but really trying to look forward, and we'll get through the mistakes because we're all in it as a team. We talk at Mission, we talk about being one team, one mission, and as a team, and when we're collective and collaborative together, we make less mistakes, and then when we do, like I said, and I got the most silly ideas than anybody, at Mission, but hey, let's just correct it and course correct and continue moving forward.
Well, Steve, your story is really interesting because, a lot of people are staying out there on the fence, kind of, should I do this or should I not do this? And a lot of it has to do tied to finances, unfortunately. So how did you actually make this happen? Because, most people, your entire organization and your restaurants just didn't get built overnight.
Well, and we have 111 restaurants. We open up 2 more on Tuesday, so we'll be at 113. Wow. It started with one, and one, if one didn't work, number 2 wasn't going to happen, and if number 1 and number 2 didn't work, then number 3 wasn't going to happen. And so, from a capital perspective, when we started this when I was 45, 46, something like that, and so you had some savings, and you had some equity in your home, and you pledged your savings, your equity in your home to get that first restaurant open, and then we've been lucky to have to make great relationships with. We have a great bank partner with M&T Bank. Goldman Sachs helped us incredibly, not just from a financial perspective, but directionally, but it all really started with savings and home equity to get into the first one.
Wow, you really did put it all when you said you were all in. So with that being said, how did you create a one-team organization, that you're one team across the board with your organization?
Yeah, so, we have, I'm just here representing, nearly 4,000 teammates. We talk about one team, one mission. This thing got bigger than Bill and I. This thing got better than Bill and I a long, long time ago. And Mission Barbecue really is our teammates. It's our teammates in their restaurant and their community. From Madison to Miami, from Peoria to Philadelphia, across the shining sea. It's really our teammates. This thing got bigger and better than Bill and I a long, long time ago. If we did purposefully open up our restaurants, however, with our field guide. And so our field guide is kind of it's got, what our mission, our mission is to serve. It's got, our why, why we do what we do. It talks a little bit about our values. What are the things that we value? Passion, respect, integrity, dedication, and excellence. And then it talks about our business model, kind of what we do. We build a team of great people, prepare great food, produce great service, and that will produce great results and great rewards. And then we take that, and it's sustainable. It pours back into great people, and then we have a goal. And so I think, our teammates we talk about they're shining stars. Our teammates are the shining stars of Mission Barbecue. And I think essentially this is what, we all rally to as one team, one mission.
That's amazing. So you really got everybody on board with this whole idea. It was just say, hey, here's a book, you read it, and then, you guys drove passion with it and made everybody understand what the actual end goal was.
Well, yeah, it's been a very intentional process. It continues to be an intentional process. We have teammates come and go. We hire from 16 years old to 80 years old. From 16 up, and so we have folks coming through. So we always have to teach it and remind everybody. And, like on Monday, we closed every restaurant in the company on Monday. Wow. And we did a Mission Barbecue Day of Service. Wow. And we donated, and our teammates donated their time to go feed the homeless and homeless veterans. And wow. So, we shut our doors down that day, and it's what our teammates did on that day of service to feed the homeless and homeless veterans. It's what our teammates do when they volunteer their time to lay a wreath, at Arlington or the military cemeteries in their community. This thing got bigger and better than Bill and I a long, long time ago, and it's really our teammates that embrace this, and they're really the shining stars that make Mission Barbecue shine.
So one thing I do want to say is, if you've never actually visited any of Steve's restaurants at Mission Barbecue, is that they're fully decorated with a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of stuff that from your fire companies, from the police, everybody that serves your community across the board in terms of, and one question that does come to mind: how did you get all that stuff?
Yeah, so when we go into a community, we do a lot of research in the community, and so we call a little starter pack up. We'll put a little starter pack up of that community's, some firefighters, some police officers, even some veterans that are in the community. And then we're usually on site in new restaurants about 8 weeks ahead of time. And it's in that 8 weeks that we drop food off to the police stations, the firefighters, the EMS, and we just kind of get to know them, not only for our opening, but this is a loyal long-term relationship we try to continue.
Yeah.
So the walls are kind of sparse and bare when we first open up. And, it doesn't take long until, our customers and our community and our country, they bless us with treasured mementos of pictures. We talk about our walls. If these stories could talk, they'd tell stories of service.
Absolutely.
So, probably in a restaurant that's been open maybe a year, I don't know, 60, 70% has been donated. And restaurants that have been open 3, 4, 5 years, probably 90% has been donated. So, in our restaurant we have a couple special walls. We have a 9/11 wall right when you walk in, and that reminds all of us that freedom isn't free. And what happened on 9/11, and to me that was a very important day personally.
Absolutely.
For me, and for us that live in the capital region, we remember that day and where we were because our country was under attack.
Yeah.
We also have a family wall. It's back near the kitchen. We have a family wall where our teammates put up pictures of their loved ones that have served: police, military, fire, first responders. And then we have a solemn wall. We have a Gold Star family wall where Gold Star families will bring pictures of their loved ones, and we'll respectfully put those up on the wall to forever remember the ultimate sacrifice and that freedom isn't free.
Awesome. So, what do you say to the person that's been kind of waiting out there to start their own restaurant and business, that's been kind of sitting on the fence the whole time and trying to figure out, maybe, like you said, I'm about to pull the trigger, but I can't.
that was me. I always kind of had this dream that you'd go out and do it for yourself, and I was scared. Quite frankly, I had a wife and and kids that were in college at the time, and the lesson I learned is, one, I wish I would have done it earlier, and the lesson I learned from me is even in life is that hey Newt, ready, aim. I mean, you got to get ready and you got to aim, but then do it. Fire. Don't wait till it's perfect. Just get it good enough, because it's going to change anyways, and commit to it. But go do it. Do it now. Do it when you're ready. Get ready, aim, and then go do it. Don't put it off. You can always, lesson I learned to myself is, you can always go get another job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say that, to the person out there, what is one thing they need to know about before they start their business?
So I can only speak for myself, what I've learned in the restaurant industry, and Bill and I starting Mission is that you got to be all in. And it's blood, sweat, and tears. You got to be all in. You got to own it. You got to enjoy. You got to enjoy that. The hustle, the bustle, the 24/7. And you got to be all in and enjoy it.
Okay.
And it's not. I don't think it's for everybody either.
Yeah.
I've got, I've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
Wow. A couple of those 3. I mean, owning a business might not be how they're wired, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Just like plumbers, electricians, and tradesmen, maybe college isn't for you, but that's okay.
Yeah. So what about what do you say to someone that's been, I think you kind of did mention this earlier, but they're still sitting on the fence. I think a lot of people are still trying to figure out, their purpose and their dreams, in terms of, and that kind of ties into the part of really, a lot of people out there, let's just face it. I mean, I'll just put it on the table that they don't like what they're doing today. They're working in, whether it's being a doctor, lawyer, attorney, whatever it may be, across the board, they don't like it, but they've been sitting on the fence. I've been thinking about this business, about getting this started across the board, and they just don't know where to start from at that point.
Yeah, that's I can imagine. I can remember back. I mean, there's always times, and there was a transition for me. There were times in my career that I didn't enjoy what I was doing, right? And as in your youth, you think that this very moment's going to last forever. And as I've gotten a bit older, I realized that even though there's things, even today, there's things that I don't particularly enjoy doing, but you got to do them, And you end up looking. I ended up looking at the bigger picture and saying, I love this business. I really love this industry. Now if you would ask me when I was 18 years old, I was going to be a chemical engineer and I was going to be a Navy pilot. But that didn't work out because I dropped out of college.
Right.
Couldn't handle chemical engineering. So, I just worked through it. And I don't want to say I came to love it because I enjoyed it. There were just things that I didn't like about it. And I had to learn that there's things you don't like about everything. Look at the sunny side, look at the things you enjoy, and align yourself to the things that you enjoy. Build a team to support yourself, because there's things I don't enjoy doing or I'm not very good at.
Yeah.
Which is Bill and I from the very first, from number 1 and number 2, we were that. So, boy, those dreams and goals are important. I don't know that I can provide much advice to everyone else out there besides just autobiographically. I just worked through the things I didn't like, and I ended up luckily to be blessed to be in an industry that I enjoy.
So one question which I wanted to bring up earlier is that you mentioned earlier about your retention and so forth, but my one question would be, what about like your HR and recruiting and all of that? I mean, eventually at some point, when did you bring that in-house to be able to do all this, and then to be able to obviously make sure that all your employees are taken care of? So
when you have your first whatever, right? You're number 1. There is no HR department. There's no purchasing department. There's no training department. There's no R&D department. You're just taking your hat off and put another hat on later that day. But as we've grown, we have been blessed. Our teammates. We've provided opportunities for our teammates to become our teammate experience director. We have teammate ambassadors in every restaurant. We have community ambassadors in every restaurant. We have regional community ambassadors. We have a branding team now, and nearly all of them, came from the ranks, or came from working at Mission. So it was just didn't happen at number 1.
Yeah.
And where we are at 100 will be different than where we will be probably at number 200. But we just continue to grow and fill in those really important positions. I mean, there was a time, Paul, we didn't have a CFO. We were, we only had one restaurant. We just had to do the books.
Yeah, exactly. So now where you stand today with this many restaurants, now have you brought in an HR department and a recruiting department now, or are you still, where are you at now?
Yeah, so we do things a little differently. We're a bit decentralized. We have a mailing address, but we don't even have an office.
Uh-huh.
Our restaurants are our office.
Yeah.
And I apologize today because you said, look, you need to be in a quiet place to do this podcast and this video. So I'm in my work uniform, but I'm in my home office because the restaurants are busy. They're smoking and blowing and going on Friday, which is good. But so it's interesting.
Yeah. So right now you pretty much who oversees all that, I guess is my question.
Yeah. So, it's collaborative. Now that we have 100 restaurants, we have more areas of responsibility.
Right.
Those areas we talked about, HR and purchasing, it's collaborative. We have a team. We have a people team.
Yeah.
That are made up of operators from restaurant operators to vice presidents.
Got it.
And then we have a food team made up of restaurant operators to vice presidents. We have a service team that's made up of, restaurant operators and vice presidents. And then we have, of course, a financial team that's made up of restaurant operators and vice presidents, a bit decentralized, so that we kind of keep our, keep the pulse, the heartbeat of what's happening on the front lines.
So so really what you've done is you've really kind of kept the corporate so-called pyramid in a way kind of out of your restaurant in a sense, and you've made it more centralized to where everybody's on the same playing field, but you've got certain people that are going to help out with different things across the board.
Yeah, I mean, we've all, like, whatever your industry is, you probably I came up, like I said, delivering pizzas, washing dishes, and so we have the saying at Mission, always remember where you came from.
Yeah,
and so we don't particularly care for that pyramid that you talked about.
Right.
We kind of all just do different things.
Yeah.
I do something different than the dishwasher today.
Yeah.
But I'm no better or worse than that dishwasher. We just do different things within the organization at this period of time in our lives.
Yeah.
If we were to have a pyramid, then I would aspire that our teammates, are at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
That we take care of our teammates and that they're the most important. Our customers are important. Our community is important, and our country is certainly important. But we start with our teammates.
So, with that being said, with the audience out there, they're probably going, "Wow, I always wanted to start a restaurant." They're probably still sitting on that fence, going, "Well, can I do it? Can I do it?" In terms of that, how have you been able to manage during this difficult time? Right now, and been able to pull through. Obviously, with the pandemic, it's been hard. And hopefully, we're starting to see, on a little bit on the career side, especially the end of the tunnel a little bit, but certainly 2 years ago, we certainly did not have any shots or anything. Myself, actually, I ended up getting the virus, unfortunately, on a plane, but pulled through. But it's been one of those things. It's just constantly been nagging all of our business, not only business owners, but individuals too across the board, trying to just pull through.
So for us, fundamentally and foundationally, if you espouse it to be about people, then if you don't walk that, the best. I mean, we're not perfect, right? We're a work in progress. But if you espouse it to be about people, and then on March 13th you lay a bunch of people off, then about how important are people, and then out of fear lay a bunch of people off. How do we get through it? We got through it with our people, with our teammates, together as one team, one mission. We were all scared, right? I mean, are we going to lose the business? Are we going to be able to pay mortgage? Are we going to be able to pay pay payroll? I mean, you and your entire audience, that's not unique to just Mission BBQ.
Right. And that brings up a great point, because, a lot of people are going, well, wait, I've built a business, but in 2 weeks or whatever, I gotta pay payroll. What about that? They'll probably get really stressed out about it. Going, how am I going to be able to do this and be able to make it happen in terms of that as well? And I'm sure for you.
Yeah, I got to give hats off to our teammates, because during this time, we sat down with every single teammate. We asked them, hey, what do you want to do? If you don't want to work, if you don't feel comfortable working, please don't. But we just what's best for Mission Barbecue is really what's best for our teammates. And we had teammates that would look at other teammates and say, I know they have a family and they need the hours. And so I'm going to give my 2 days a week or one extra day a week to them, and hopefully we did it all together. And we just kept our head down and really, I hate to say it, but we kind of felt like there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
All I can do is all I can do. So that was one of our sayings, is that, all I can do is all I can do.
Yeah.
So I need to do all I can do. And then, where we'll be, that's where the good Lord will have us.
So, with a person wanting to start their own business, how did you make a success out of it? And then how does a person currently in the current climate actually make a success out of it?
I grew up in Ohio, in the cornfields, the soybean fields of Ohio. I'm a college dropout, so I don't know that I have a real compelling answer here. Besides, I think what's worked for us is having a core set of values, and trying to stay true to those, and just put. We talk about put your work boots on, lace them up, pack your lunchbox, go to work, roll your sleeves up, do your best, and take love and take care of your home family and your work family.
That's awesome. Well, Steve, we really do appreciate you spending some time with us here today and taking time out of your really busy schedule and, with everything that you do every day. And thanks for all that you do in your restaurants and serving all of us, across the country, especially during this pandemic, and making sure that your teammates are obviously taken care of across the board. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Newton from Mission Barbecue. Again, if you've not been to the restaurant, definitely go out and take a look and have some amazing food. I will say one thing, you have an amazing bread pudding that's out there that nobody else seems to have. You got a secret recipe that's out there. So I will tell you, once you go into their restaurant, you will certainly be coming back every week for sure in terms of that. Steve, again, yeah.
Thanks for that, Paul. If anybody, our website is mission-bbq.com, and my email address is snewton@mission-bbq.com. Happy to answer any questions and be there to serve anybody. Just in closing, I'll say that, thanks to all of our people, our teammates, our customers, our community, our country. We are blessed by the support that you guys have given us over the last 10 years, and it doesn't go unnoticed nor taken for granted. And then finally, I'm always inspired that the American spirit, is strong as steel.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul.
I hope to have you back again. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today for our show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll hope to see you back on our next show.